So, Andrew, I honestly didn't think I was going to make it here this time. You know, to use your phrase, the Matrix got me for a while.
You told me something happened. What happened?
You know, it's unbelievable. I got this tour going on in the UK. We're going in March. And because I was coming to Dubai first, I had to have 6 months left on my passport.
Yep.
And my passport actually expired in June. So Ella's telling me, go get your passport done. I said, I'll do it when I get back. She says, you got to do it right away. You can't get an appointment there. I make a connection. I get an appointment on a Monday.
Yeah.
I'm leaving Tuesday, Tuesday night, right? Go there Monday, give them the money, go through the computer, everything's fine. I go back Tuesday. Mr. Franzese, we're sorry, we can't give you your passport. I said, why not? Department of Treasury has put a hold on it. I said, Department of Treasury? So they said, you got to call them up. I said, call the Department of Treasury? This is you. It'll take 6 months to even get through to them. Long story short, what I find out is somebody puts a fraudulent tax return, filed a fraudulent tax return for 2023. Wasn't even due yet. And I never file on time anyway. I'm always 4 months late. And claimed I made $4,000 and I needed a $100 return, right? So the IRS looks at it and said, this is fraudulent. They don't process it, but they post it. So overnight, when I go to try to get my passport, goes over the computer, whatever, they stop me, right? So when I find this out, I said, well, who posted this? You know, who filed it? You can file it e-file. They said, well, we can't tell you because it's under investigation.
So I'm going to play more of this video as time goes on. But prior to showing you the rest of the clips, what this sit down, this discussion between Andrew Tate and Micheal Franzese shows is that there are two individuals who have deep experience with criminal investigations. And what is surprising to me is the fact that Andrew Tate is even allowed to sit down with Micheal Franzese, because if you look at common law jurisdictions, America especially, if a person is suspected of a crime and out on bail, if they're out on bail, there'll be bail conditions. Those conditions will state who you can and can't speak to. Typically, if a person is suspected of involvement in a criminal organization, which Andrew Tate was, they would be told not to speak to other people who have pasts whereby they're involved in gangs, criminal organizations, organized crime, which Micheal Franzese is. So it shows the potential or the prospective differences between the Romanian justice system and the American justice system. I also think that it's an interesting interview because it gives a perspective on people who have experienced the same thing as far as the criminal justice system is concerned. And it's very different if you're talking on the outside, if you have views about the way things might be. But for two people who have actually been to jail, that is what makes it interesting.
This recently in London, there was I can't remember if it was a stabbing or an acid attack. Something heinous happened in London only a month or a month and a half ago to a little girl. And they were talking about how they couldn't find the guy. And London has the most CCTV in the world. And as much as I believe the UK is a failed society, the Met Police are pretty good at wrapping up the violent people pretty quickly. They do respond and find them. It's unfortunate they only come after the event. You'll get stabbed, but they might catch the guy once you're dead, which is kind of nice. But they couldn't find this person who did this extremely heinous crime. And I made the very obvious point. The only reason they cannot find somebody who did something so heinous in the middle of the day in the middle of a city like London is because they have no idea who this person is. He has no social media, no passport, no bank cards, no footprint. He came on a boat. He turned up. He murdered a native. And he's vanished. Because who knows it? Who is he? You have a grainy CCTV image and absolutely nothing else. So, I mean, maybe not maybe. I've been called it a few times. It must be semi-true conspiracy theorist. But when you tell me things like this, just sounds like people trying to game the system. And who are these people? Do they even have American passports or citizenships or any interest in the country at all? Or are they just there to exploit whatever they can exploit?
Who knows? You know, but I don't know how the immigration system is here. I know it's pretty bad in the UK, but you got to see how it is in America. We have probably 15 million people that have come into the country. And, you know, I spoke recently to 850 Border Patrol agents in Texas.
Yep.
And they told me, Michael, you have no idea. We have no idea who's coming into this country.
So that is another clip which shows exactly the way that this discussion went. It was very interesting. It highlighted a lot of different areas, and one of the most poignant aspects of the conversation was the fact that they were talking about political issues of the time. What is going on in America, in the UK, the way that people are being forced to digest and regurgitate information that they're being fed. It was certainly something which highlighted the ongoing zeitgeist. What do the people of the time want you to think? What do they want you to say? How do they want you to feel? And another point which I think is of note or remarkable is the fact that the interview was actually pulled. It was put on YouTube and pulled shortly thereafter. So it does give you a perspective as to whether what the people are saying is correct or if they are simply overly paranoid. Make sure to do the right thing. And the right thing is liking, commenting, and subscribing to get more great content.